Hello everybody, I'm your host, Dr. Darkspawn, naturally, and welcome. Welcome to the second video about traps and their mods and the difficulty rating that they have, like their base value for difficulty rating and how they'll be affecting your outpost. So in this one, I'm going to be looking specifically at the base values of every type of mod for every type of trap in the game. I will have a summary of that flash on screen for a few seconds, so if you don't want to watch how I actually got the information, you can just feel free to pause the video and look at those values for a few seconds. But if you want to see how I actually did it, I in detail go through how I did every piece, how I tested it, how I set it up, to try and keep everything as consistent and correct as possible. So yeah, here it is. Right now, I will apologize. I did get a bit confused every now and then with certain terms and values because I was recording for a long time, lots of re-recordings, and there were a lot of numbers, frankly a lot more numbers than I'm comfortably able to deal with in a short amount of time. I had some notes with me, but I still made the occasional slip up, so when that happens there'll be a bit of text on screen for a second or so with the correct wording or terminology on it. Enjoy the video. Let's hop right in then, shall we? Because that's 123.5 out of 124. So we have 0.5 danger rating to play with. So we can add one of these picture perfect ones. And this again reinforces that the picture perfect has like a 0.3 danger rating. It stays normal after adding one of these mods. And after adding another one, it should put us at 124.1, which is exactly over dangerous. This is the closest that I could have gotten to the cap using these mods, and exactly the same as picture perfect on all of the mods, being 0.3 in value. If I add 2 eagle eyes, it adds 0.6, which puts us at 124.1, which makes it dangerous. And just to show that they have the same value, I'm going to remove one and it'll go back down to normal, because it'll be at 123.8. Right, so Eagle Eye and Picture Perfect have the same base value, but do keep in mind that Eagle Eye will increase the line of sight of the Holocube, and if it's pointed in the specific way or has more vision of Harvey's path, it will affect the danger rating that gets added a bit more, I believe. Right, so removing these, we can also then add one Masquerade, same as with Picture Perfect, and Eagle Eye, it stays normal, so it has roughly the same value, 0.3. So Picture Perfect, Eagle Eye, and Masquerade, all three have a value of 0.3. But what about second wave? So let's let it update, goes back down to normal, so we're back on 123.5, and I add second wave. But now it goes to dangerous. So in other words, this has to add more than 0.5, but if I keep that, we remove one of these and put down another second wave. So I've removed 1 point and I've added a second wave. That should put us exactly on, or just above 124. Right, so now we're back down to normal. So we have 124, it's 18 plus 3 instead of plus 4. So we've lost 1 point, but we've gained at least 0.5 on this one. So this is between 0.5 and 1 point in value. And if we add Masquerade or Picture Perfect, that we know exactly what kind of value we have for the mod, it's plus 0.3, plus another 0.3, and plus another 0.3. So we have second wave plus 0.9 is equal to the value of 2 corrosive cubes. Right, moving on to corrosives. You can see I have the exact same setup that I was kind of like using yesterday, with the path being a bit shorter. I have 17 bolt shots, and 5 corrosives on this. So let's do the math there. We have 17 times 7, which was the rough value for bolt shots as discovered in the previous video. But in order just to make it a bit more accurate, I'm going to use 7.1, which is the decimal that I had before for bolt shots, and take that value times it by 17. We get a 120.7. And then we're going to take the 5 from the corrosive, we're going to add that. That's going to put us at 125.7. And then we're going to subtract the 2.5 from going into the amount of unique traps higher than 1, which is going to put us at 123.2 capacity. Now, considering we're at 123.2, I'm going to add splatter to 3 of these, and it's not going to actually put us into dangerous. It's going to stay normal, but if I add a 4th one, it will put us into dangerous, which means that these 4 mods all together give us 0.8 to 0.85 total danger rating. So we're going to then take a value, if we divide that, it's going to give us like 0.2 for the splatter mod in terms of danger rating on a corrosive. And the exact same thing happens when we put harden and opaque on. It takes 4 of each of those mods to put it up to dangerous, which means that opaque, harden, and splatter, all 3 have exactly the same value in terms of mod cost. So it's going to be 0.2 danger rating for each one of those mods on the corrosive. But for second wave, adding one of those does not put us into dangerous, and adding a second one does. In other words, it's definitely either double the cost of opaque, harden, and splatter, or slightly more. Now, again, it's very difficult to get an exact decimal with mods since there aren't really values at about 0.1. So there's always going to be some, there's going to be a range of values. So I'm just going to assume that the second wave mod on the corrosive is exactly the same cost as the second wave mod on the Holocube, which would put it at 0.6 danger rating. And with that, I'm going to remove these, and then we're going to remember that we are on 123.2 capacity, and I'm going to add an overshot, and we'll see how much of an effect that has in terms of its base value, rather than, you know, all the extra blocks of Harvey's Path that it can see. So adding 3 of these has not done much for the difficulty rating, and on the 4th one it should go over to dangerous. There we go. So just based on this, we can say that overshot's value is equal to the value of the mods on the corrosive cubes. It's equal to the value of splatter, hardened skin, and opaque, keeping in mind that there is only half a block of vision of the bolt shots on Harvey's pathway. It has got the same value, so there's less value coming from the amount of blocks of Harvey's pathway that it's pointing towards, and we're just actually looking at the base value of that mod and not the effect it has on the increased difficulty rating, its maximum to minimum effect, like that range of extra difficulty rating that it can add. So yeah, 0.2 danger rating on that one as a base value for adding it without increasing the amount of blocks that it can see of Harvey's Path. So I have put down Double Down and Hunter on these. Let's use Hunter as an example. Placing 2 of these at 17 bolt shots and 5 corrosives in the exact same setup puts it up into dangerous, which is double the amount of traps compared to Overshot. So I'm going to give Hunter and Double Down, which both behave the same way, double the value, at least double the value of Overshot. So it's going to be between a value of 0.4 to 0.6. I did a bit of testing where I removed some of the holo, added a few mods on the other holos to give them like plus 0.2, plus 0.2. But unfortunately, the closest I can get is that it's between 0.4 danger rating and 0.6 danger value, because there's always a 0.1 or 0.2 range from the blocks. So yeah, that's why they have just either double the value or 3 times the value of an Overshot trap. So we're still at 123.2 danger rating, so we're 0.8 away. Previously starting at 123 with the 5 corrosives and no second wave on 1 Boltshot. We're at 123.2. We then remove the last one, that puts us at 122.2. Then we add 3 opaques, so that's 2, 4, 6 plus 0.2 plus 0.2 plus 0.2, which puts us at a total value of 122.8. And if we add second wave, that value goes from 122.8 to being above 124. So that's at least 1.2 danger rating that gets added, but it's probably between 1.2 and 1.5 danger rating. We can try and get a better gauge of it by removing the 1 opaque. So it should, if it was 1.2, it goes to 123.8. So there we have it. It's a value of 1.2 for the Hunter mod, which means that Double Down and Hunter probably have a value of 0.6. A lot of these have second wave at double or just more than double, sometimes 3 times value. For the Holocubes, second wave was double the danger rating than the others. For the Corrosives, it was triple, and we're again seeing that it's either triple if Double Down and Hunter is 0.4, or double if it's Double Down and Hunter at 0.6. But the second wave trap value is definitely 1.2 danger rating. While testing, I've encountered a little bit of a problem. We're still on the setup where I have 123.2 danger rating, so there's 0.8 space to work with in terms of danger rating, and I have gone to every single one of these, and you can see by the green triangle above on the top of them that I have given every single one of these Relentless, and all 17 of them have the mod, but I'm still on normal. As you can see, I still have all 17 of the Boltshots. I still have 5 Corrosives. There's no mods on the Corrosives, and there's no other mods on the Boltshots, which means that the 17 Relentless mods I put down could not give me more than 0.8 difficulty rating. So either the value of each one of these is less than 0.047 each, or the value is 0. And I'm just gonna, write this one as a 0 for the base value of the mod, and just let it be there. Do keep in mind there may be further modifiers. I'm just getting the base value. So for example, this trap had 7 blocks of vision. The Relentless mod may be equal to 1.5 difficulty rating, but for the test being run here, because it has minimal vision, just to try and get the base value of that mod itself, it's so low that it's practically negligible. It means absolutely nothing, or it is 0. Getting started with the incinerators. Right now I have 13 incinerators at a value of 8.95, using the middle value of the values discussed yesterday, which was just use a value of 9, even though the calculation said a value of 8.9, so we're going to use 8.95 to try and better show this. And 8.95 I think is actually a much more correct value to use for the incinerators. And then we have 7 corrosive cubes. So we can take 13 times 8.95. That gives us 116.35 danger rating. Sorry. Then we add the 7 from the 7 corrosive cubes, and then that gives us 123.35 danger rating. So we're pretty close to being on top of the danger rating cap right now. We're gonna add, actually we're gonna remove 1 corrosive, and we're gonna add 4 of these. So effectively we've just reduced the maximum of the current amount of danger rating by 0.2, because we removed 1 and we added 0.2468. So in this we have 123.15 danger rating at the moment. So we're 0.85 danger rating away from being dangerous. And adding Dragon Breath makes it dangerous, which means the Dragon Breath has a value between 0.85 and 1, though I do think the value for it is probably 1, so I'm just going to assign it the value of 1 danger rating. Next we can test for Eruption. So it's normal after we remove Opaque. If we put Opaque back, then it has the same value as Dragon's Breath, and it goes dangerous again. So Eruption and Dragon's Breath have the same value. Now we can test for Napalm. If it's still dangerous, it has the same value. And if we remove Opaque and it goes back to being normal, then it also has a value of 1. There we go. So Dragon's Breath, Eruption, and Napalm, all 3 have exactly the same value in terms of danger rating. Now that it's back to normal, we can put on Second Wave and actually see how much Second Wave affects it. Oh, we're still on normal, which means that the value for Second Wave is less than 1, because all the other traps had a value of 1. And adding Opaque on this one, it's not dangerous. So this would have made it over by 0.15. This now makes it over by... Okay, so the value of Second Wave on Incinerators would then be between 0.8 and 0.95. Right, so moving on to Bomb Ejectors, they are in exactly the same spots as the Incinerators and the Boltshots were before. I have 13 of them down at the same value as Incinerators at 8.95. 13 times 8.95 gives me 116.35. Then I add the 7 capacity being used by the Corrosives and the 0.6 capacity being used for these mods, which puts us at 123.95. I think I called it capacity, but I meant danger rating. It puts us at 123.95 danger rating. So, strangely enough, I've given every single one of these 13 bomb ejectors Eagle Eye, and I've not put their value into the calculation. I've only used the base value of the bomb ejector, as well as the base value of the corrosive and the mods on the corrosives, which means that all 13 of these bomb ejectors and the mod on them, Eagle Eye, has less value than 0.05 danger rating. So this is another 0. No value. Right, so I've removed one of the corrosives, so there's only 6 corrosives, and that there's only 3 that have the opaque mod on them. So that brings the total danger rating down to 122.95, which leaves 1.05 value open. And I'm adding chaos bombs now, which should put it to 123.95, and then adding a 0.2 from opaque puts us over 124 and makes it brutal. So the value for Chaos and Heavyweight are both the same. They're both equal to 1 danger rating. And for second wave, strangely enough, also having 4 opaques and second wave on that, it doesn't make it dangerous. You need to add 5 to get it to go up, which means that the danger rating for the second wave mod on the bomb ejector is equal to 0.8, in the same way that the incinerator also has 0.8 for its second wave. And just like Relentless is worth 0 for the Boltshot, Eagle Eye is worth 0 for the bomb ejector. Pistons. Now there's been a bit of an oopsie on my end. In my previous video I only fitted 20 pistons and I gave them a danger rating of 6. I would like to apologize. This was wrong. Some of my pistons were hitting Harvey from behind, and in this iteration all of my pistons are hitting Harvey from the front, so there's no added modifier to this, and I was able to fit 23 pistons and not 20. So then I just took the extra corrosives to get me just below the cap. As you'll see here, we're like 0.5 or 0.15 away from the cap. There it goes, dangerous. So I've taken these numbers and I worked it back into the formula, and the danger value rating of a piston now should be 5.13. So keeping that in mind, pistons and iron claws have roughly the same danger rating then. But yeah, it's 5.13, it's not 6. My bad, I apologize. Let's have a look at the specific mods now then, shall we? Right, so for the mods on the death piston, I've removed one of the corrosives, so there's now only 5 corrosives and 23 death pistons, which would have put us at a value of 122.99 danger rating. But I've added these 2 opaques at 0.2 value each, putting the total value at 123.39 danger rating. So it's 61 danger rating away from being dangerous. And every one of these mods, Burning Piston, Blockade, Unstable and Second Wave, all have exactly the same value. So I add it, it becomes dangerous, which means it's above 0.6 in value, but it's below 0.8 in value, because if it was higher than 0.8 in value, I would have been able to remove this and it would still remain dangerous. So yeah, the same thing happens for each one of the mods for Burning Piston, Blockade, Unstable and Second Wave. All of them become dangerous when I add opaque here. In other words, I added 0.2 danger rating to the equation, which means all of them have 0.8 danger rating. Heading on to impalers, I've got a bunch of impalers down, but because I don't have enough space to have all of them face the front to where the direction that Harvey is coming from, and not get the plus danger rating from behind, I opted to put a few other traps in that, you know, just bump the danger rating quite a bit, so I have less to worry about the space. So I've got 8 unmodded corrosives, 23 unmodded impalers, and 5 unmodded incinerators. Now with this setup right here, it brings the total danger rating to 123.9. And yeah, so I'm going to remove one. This is going to put us 122.9. I'm going to add 0.4, which is going to put us at 123.3. Then I'm going to add self-destruct, and we're going to see what the value is. It still remains normal because it only adds 0.6. All of the mods of the Impaler stay normal under these circumstances, and for them to stay normal they need to add less than 0.8 but more than 0.4, which in this case puts all of the values of the mods at 0.6. As you can see, it's been normal this whole time, even on the second wave mod being added. And if we add another 0.2, which if we wouldn't need to have added this if these trap mods were 0.8 in value, it goes over to dangerous. So yeah, with that said, all the mods for Impalers are 0.6. So for the iron claw traps, I've placed them down in exactly the same positions as the Impalers. So here and there's a little bit more of one block of space. It shouldn't make too much of a difference, to be honest, because we're still testing the exact amount of danger value that gets added. So in this scenario, I have 7 plasmas, 5 incinerators again, and the same amount of impalers as in the previous test. So with the setup of having 3 opaque blocks, this danger rating comes down to 123.075. So it's just short of being 123.1. And if we add double down, grease chains, or quick launch, all 3 of these have the same value, it still remains normal. So that goes to 123.875. And if we add an opaque, I've already done a bit of testing before this, so I know what the value is. But if we add both of those, it goes from 123.07 to 124.07. In other words, that's 1 full danger rating value to the outpost. So we know that this is 1.2 then, and then double down, grease change, and quick launch will all 3 be a value of 0.8. But second wave actually becomes dangerous with 3 instead of 4 opaque traps, meaning that the value for second wave is 0.2 higher. So we remove opaque from that corrosive. The second wave mod active on this, it then becomes normal again. In other words, second wave on this is 1 pointed danger rating. And that'll do it for all the traps. Thank you so much everybody for watching. I appreciate it. This has been a very long-winded video that had a lot of stats in it, and yeah, I appreciate your patience with it. I'll have a bit of a summary and a spreadsheet. Again, apologies for my errors in the previous video, you know, not having traps face towards the front of Harvey, like this, the way that he's walking. I've rectified that now. It's no longer a problem. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind for any future testing that I do, especially with guards going forward. And if you'd like to see any similar content heading forward, please do let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the love and support from everyone as well that have been commenting and that have been giving me so many compliments and have been doing some of their own testing. It's great to see that, you know, there's a bit more attention from the game, considering that the viewer count's been, not the viewer count, that the player count from the game has been dwindling a little lately, probably waiting for the new content to drop. But yeah, we'll deal with that when we get there. I may have a video that I'm going to interject instead of doing guards next. I'm going to just talk about the general state of the game and my feelings about it and how I stand on the game, you know, what it's looking like, and what the Steam charts are telling us. And if I can somehow find some stats for PlayStation and Xbox, people playing it as well, I'll maybe put those in, if it's from a reliable source. If not, yeah, we'll see how it works. But until then, stay safe everybody. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I've been your host, Dr. Darkspawn, and you've been fantastic. Take care. On the wastes. Bye-bye.